Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 78 of Cross Button VR, our journey into the world of VR. I'm your host, Laurie, and it is an honour to be joined by one of the most metal influencers in the metaverse. It's Reese. Whee!
Hello there. I don't know why I always say hello there like it's a big woo. Right.
Hello there.
I think it's from Hot Fuzz, isn't it? The big bald dude. It reminds me of that.
You could just say hello. That's fine. You can say what you like, Reese. Say what you like. You're metal. You can do what you like.
It's minor. Yeah, very metal.
Are you well? You well?
I'm doing good, mate. You?
Enjoying these dying days of summer?
Yes, it can soon go, and we can put away the fans again and save a little bit on electricity.
Well, yeah, until we don't have to put the heating on.
And then just leave the PC on all day.
Crippled.
Leave the PC on all day along with the PlayStation.
That's it.
Nothing else, yeah.
Play more VR. And actually, I've got a confession to make now. At the start of this episode, I've played very little VR this week because we've had people staying. I've been away. We've been doing stuff. It's just busy time of the year.
Don't say that. This is a VR podcast. You can't say that.
I know. I have played some. Don't worry. I have played some, but I've definitely noticed it's harder to get those VR hours in under your belt this time of year. Just because in fact, all video games I've fairly considered PS5 for this last few weeks, just because I've been doing stuff, and I'm away next week as well. So you won't have me. It'll be you and Alyx on the episode next week because I'll be off in a field somewhere drinking.
Did you already tell us this?
I don't know. I told you this. Maybe not told the audience. So they've got a week now to come to terms with it. Anyway, let's move on. Before we get into the episode, just remind everyone that please, so many people listen to this. It's crazy. So many people listen to this and they're not subscribing on our YouTube. Can you believe that, Reese?
Yeah, it's quite a high percentage. So hit that subscribe button. Yeah.
Yep.
Stick with us.
Alyx is going to edit in some funky little subscribe graphics that pop up with little buttons at some point, which always makes me smile. But yeah, please do subscribe because it makes a huge difference. And just watch as much of the video as you possibly can, and like and comment and all that kind of stuff. And follow us on Twitter at CrossButtonVR as well too, please. Cool. Okay, let's get stuck into the episode. And we're going to start this week, as people who've seen the episode title in our thumbnail will know, it's Max Mustard Hype Week. Because we've finally now got a release date for it coming to PSVR2. And that release date is, Reese?
October the 3rd.
October the 3rd. Yep, that's not too long to wait, is it?
Although it's the same day as Metal Hellsinger, you could have done a different day for me. But hey ho, Max Mustard.
They're very different. They're very different games. And
they are.
Yeah, it's a great October though for PSVR2 now.
Getting busy.
Metal Hellsinger, not Slinger, and Wanderer. So that's cool. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. I think we all are. Everyone is. And you've obviously played the game already, so you are already at Max Mustard. Did you finish the game over on Quest?
I've got to. I think I'm on the 3rd chapter. It's one of the ones I've been really slow with it. I've not completely finished it, so I'm on the 3rd chapter now. I've been trying to
of how many?
4 chapters. So 10 levels in each one, 40 levels. But you've also got like these VR style levels. When I say VR, obviously it's a VR game, but they've tried to implement VR to the next level with making it so your hands actually do stuff as opposed to just moving a character around. So you have like the plunger gun or the Hoover gun and things like that, and just all these ways to kind of implement yourself into this world of Max Mustard. And it really works. It's like, obviously I've played Astrobot, and I know everybody's still crying for Astrobot VR. This is the closest thing I've played to Astrobot VR. In the sense of a platformer in VR. It's the closest you're going to get. It's great.
Yeah, I can't wait. It looks great. And because I haven't played anything really like this, I was trying to think. Kind of Moss is probably the nearest I can think of in terms of that kind of third person. You're looking down into the world and controlling something.
PSVR1 had quite a couple of them actually. It had Ghost Giant, which was another really good one. I really wish they'd pulled that. That's probably one of I think like the hidden gems of VR right there, Ghost Giant. So maybe one day we'll see that come across again. But yeah, I think this is a game everybody really wants, Max Mustard. It's not so much of, it's not because it's just Max Mustard. They want a 3D platformer. They've seen, so many fans from obviously the PSVR 1 have been crying for Astrobot. So it's a no-brainer. And I'm so glad it's coming across at this time. Obviously, it's been on Quest for maybe 3 to 4 months now. I feel like maybe just a little bit longer.
I think so.
And yeah, it's done really well. I mean, I'm not too sure how it did on the first bit of release, but then they did that huge Easter egg sale, which again, like they've constantly pushed this game, and I think they've really made a name for themselves with Max Mustard. And obviously, Toast Interactive, which made Richie's Plank experience. I mean, everybody knows of that as well, but when you look at Max Mustard, I feel like the character, the art style, everything within this world, I think it's just a great game to kind of push to the masses because of how much is there within it. And I mean, it's got that kind of cartoon feel to it and cartoon look, almost like you'd be watching a show sometimes. So yeah, no, it's a really good one. And I'm really happy that it's coming across, and I'm really happy we're going to be experiencing it soon.
Well, they've also been teasing a lot of the sort of comparisons of the graphics comparison between the Quest and the PSVR2 versions, and it's looking like a really nice upgrade that they're doing for PSVR2. Yeah. So I'm very much happy for them to take the time and that they are polishing it and making it look really nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised by that because, I mean, obviously we played it very early. I say very early, we got access to it just before the release on the Quest. So we were playing it, and I think the only thing we kind of said when we did our initial Quest bonus episode and we spoke about Max Mustard then on the Quest was the resolution could do with a bit of a boost. And then they upgraded the resolution. It looked fantastic. And I generally thought, there's not much more they can do with this game. And when I saw the comparison video, I was quite shocked with how much they've actually done with the game to make it look even better for the PSVR 2. Because let's be honest, I mean, it's not in the sense of being an over-the-top, crazy graphical game. It's cartoon, bit of shell shading. I mean, I don't mean to diminish what they're doing because they've done great work, and I'm not saying that. But in the sense of like the Quest could definitely run some more of it. But it's like I said before, Quest struggles with running dynamic shadows. So anything like really deep shadows, if it's like the Quest can have a bit of a struggle running it. But I genuinely didn't think they could make it look any better than they already did, and I'm absolutely surprised of how much they have, especially the water detail on the PSVR 2, the comparisons we've seen, like they look crazy.
I love the bit of water effects around here, around these parts.
Yes, we do.
Well, I think it's a great time to cut to our interview. We've been very lucky to be able to speak to Ben from Toast Interactive, who is their social media and senior content specialist, and he was good enough to take some time out of his busy schedule to talk to your good self and Alyx and record a nice little interview, which we're going to play for everyone right now.
So, Ben, I thank you for joining us. I think there's probably an obvious place where people might expect us to start, but I don't really like starting at the obvious places, so we'll start a little bit about you first, Ben. So tell us, for people that don't know you, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, how you got into the games industry.
Yeah. Firstly, just thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I love how accepting and engaging the VR community has been. Like, it's been a super exciting few months for me with Toast, and like getting to know so many VR creators and people who just love the platform and love the tech, but also just the community of it. Like, it's honestly been great. Community's always been like a really big thing for me when it comes to like gaming, something I'm very passionate about. So my background is really weird. I'm actually a veterinarian, like animal doctor. I went to school straight after I graduated school. I went to uni, studied the vet degree, graduated from that, and then worked as a vet for about 5 years. But while I was doing that, while I was studying and working as well, I was doing a lot of stuff on the side about games. Like, I'd always been super passionate about games, played a lot of mostly Nintendo games growing up. So I have 3 older brothers, and they exposed me a lot to games that they'd played. So it had always been a very big part of my life. During school, I got very big into the Nintendo DS. I love that console. I still do. I don't know if you can see off screen, there's like 500 DS games on a shelf.
That's a very impressive collection.
There's a ton there. So like, I think that was one of the consoles that really kicked off my passion for gaming. But also like kind of the community and the multiplayer aspect of it. So like getting together with people, like interacting with people online who were also passionate about these games, just like building that sense of community. So started up like a Facebook page, just trying to interact with more people, like talk about games, get people to discuss games. So sorry about Connie. She's gonna scream sometimes, but we'll deal. While I was at uni as well, I was actually running like it was a pretty successful like video game and pop culture club. We had a couple hundred members. we would have like weekly anime nights, and like each semester we'd have like gaming gatherings. So we'd get a bunch of people like playing Smash and Mario Kart and like Pokemon and stuff, and it was a heap of fun. And like I just loved it. I spent so much time online on social media during my uni years. I had a couple like Facebook meme pages, did a lot of shit posting, built up a pretty decent online presence, and I still have that page to this day. And there's people who I've known for like over a decade just through posting like random stuff on Facebook, and it's been awesome. But I really started getting into it around when COVID hit. I was working as a vet. It was a weird time. I actually ended up with a lot more time on my hands. It was kind of early 2020. We had some pretty serious lockdowns in Australia. So like, yeah, like it was really weird to be connected with people. But I think people instead moved online during that time. And I was still super passionate about games. I was doing a lot of content creating. Like I post stuff on my Instagram every day, and I know a lot of people in Australia who are passionate about games, and we kind of formed this community through Instagram. But I wanted to do more with it, like kind of take it to the next level. So I actually started up a website. It's called Qualbert.com. The name doesn't mean anything. It's just a gamer tag that I came up with when I was 8, and it's stuck. But at least it's not taken anywhere. Like every time I need a username or like the website URL wasn't taken, so that was good.
I always thought it was a reference to that old game Qualbert.
So. Everyone thinks it's Qbert. That would make too much sense.
Yeah.
I started up the website. I sent out like hundreds of emails to developers and publishers. I was basically like, hey, I'm an independent writer. I'm going to write reviews. I would really be keen on like getting on your press list if there's any sort of opportunities. Like it started out small. So a lot of the time I was contacting indies. And indies, they need coverage. They're far more willing to send out copies of their games to creators or lesser known websites. But it just built and built. Like over the year or two since I started it, like there was just more and more interest. The website was like getting thousands of hits. I had to get a few more people on board to help out with writing stuff because I just couldn't keep up. And the website's still doing really well. Like we get to cover a lot of awesome games. Like for me, one of my biggest successes was being able to review Zelda Tears of the Kingdom last year.
That is a little bit of a badge of honor, really, isn't it, when you get to that stage?
Like I've always been a huge Zelda fan, and if you told me when I was a kid that Nintendo's going to send you a copy of that one day and you'll get to write about it, like it's a dream come true. But that's not without a lot of effort, a lot of late nights, a lot of writing, like the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. You don't really know unless you are a fellow content creator or a writer, because it's a huge commitment. It's like having another job. But that got me very passionate about exploring more work within games. So I was kind of trying to sidestep in my career, like figure out, okay, well, can I make a career of this? Can I actually earn money talking about games or posting about games? Like that'd be the dream, really. I didn't actually foresee myself being a vet for the rest of my life. It's a pretty intense job for anyone that's in the industry.
I can definitely imagine that.
Yeah, it's very emotionally taxing. It's incredibly important, and I'm glad I did it. But it's given me a lot of transferable skills.
If I have any questions about my cat and how it's feeling, shall I just come to you?
Look, send me a message on Twitter. I'll chat about it. Like I actually don't mind anymore because I don't do it as a day job.
Yeah,
Back
exactly.
when I was doing it as a day job and people would send me questions, I'd be like, no, bugger
Go
off.
to the vets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, me.
So after I did like clinical vet work, I actually started working for a pet insurance company. There's a really big insurance company here in Australia called Budget Direct. So they started up a pet insurance company. They needed a vet to like approve things and like help them develop the product. So I started working there. And everything that they were marketing had to run past me, and I needed to approve it from a vet perspective. And I loved it. I was like, what? Like marketing? this is super fascinating. Like, they get to be creative, they get to do design, they get to like build this community, like sell a product, but be like clever about how to go about it. And I was like, this is what I want to do, but I want to do this for games. But then trying to figure out, okay, how do I get into that space when I've got this portfolio of a website that I've made, but I haven't had any like paid games work. And like a lot of the studios that I've approached have been like, oh yeah, you've got a lot of experience and skills, but like you need to have like some paid work in the industry before you consider a position like this. And it was a catch-22. Like I couldn't like break into those positions without first having that experience. So I was at PAX Australia last year. I've been to PAX as like a media coverage a couple of times, doing write-ups for my website, mostly focusing on indie games. I was lucky enough to be invited by PAX to host their indie showcase panel, which is like probably the biggest indie gaming event in Australia. So that was a huge honor. While I was there, I got talking with a friend of mine called Alyx, who we'd interacted a lot online, and he actually started up his own indie game marketing business, and he was doing it by himself. So doing like PR and social media for a whole bunch of indie clients on like a contract basis. And he was just getting swamped. So he needed a hand, and he'd seen all of what I'd been doing with my website and social media. And so we were like, okay, well, let's see how we can make this work. So I dropped back some hours from my day job, and I started working for him, and it was just the perfect opportunity. So I was working alongside a lot of like small indie studios. I had to learn a lot on the job, so doing a lot of editing and kind of boosting their social media as much as I could on like very tight budgets. And I did that for almost a year, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Still very good friends with Alyx, and he's doing some great stuff with indies here in Australia. But my goal was always to like get to full-time game marketing work. And then I got a call out of the blue from a recruiter who found me on LinkedIn. And he was like, hey, there's this job going locally. It's with a studio called Toast Interactive. And I was like, of course I bloody know Toast. Like, they made Richie's Plank Experience. It's massive. Like, they're one of the biggest VR successes to come out of Australia, if not the biggest, potentially. And I was like, hell yeah, like, put me down for this job. Like, I would love to do it. I had like so this was on a Thursday, had an interview lined up on the Friday. I had the interview on Monday, and then I got the job on Tuesday. So it was like 4 days, such a quick turnaround. And I was stoked. Like, for me to have this opportunity to work with a local studio, and a studio that deals primarily with VR as well. And I've actually not spoken about VR yet, because like I've had a fair bit of experience with that.
You're building your way up.
Yeah, there's a lot to get to.
You've got a lot, yeah.
This is my life story. I hope people are still listening, because it might bore them. But yeah, I started with them in May this year, and it was actually after the launch of Max Mustard. So Max Mustard launched in March, and like coming in after a game launch was kind of an odd time, because like I'd missed all that initial build up and then the excitement of the team from launch. And then I was kind of like had to jump in and try and get as many eyes on the game as possible through the socials. And it's been awesome. Like, I've only been there since May, but we've achieved some massive stuff. Like that promo code, that couple of weeks with promo code was insane.
Like, you started a trend there. If I'm right to say that, was that your idea?
Oh, like it
was a mixture of people's ideas, I'm assuming. But
it was a lot of the team, and like there was a lot of inputs on how we go about it. How do we be a bit sneaky about it? To be honest, like,
well, it didn't stay sneaky for long, thanks to Reddit. But
that's what we were hoping for.
Yeah. Went like a wildfire. Like, and it was insane.
It was crazy. And that is the power of community. That is the power of social media and people talking about things. Like, I think a lot of game developers have that as an afterthought. But if you utilize that properly, like your game can potentially blow up.
Yeah.
And now,
sorry, I was just going to say, and I suppose from that perspective, I mean, and this is one of the things that we talk about quite a lot in terms of VR. To showcase a VR game is incredibly difficult compared to trying to showcase it in terms of a flat game, and I think that's where the community, and I think you mentioned it as well, the community is so important in a game, particularly a VR game, because that is what is going to build your game, and that is what's going to sell your game.
absolutely.
Every time we talk about a trailer for a game, or this for a game, or that for a game, you're like, but you're not. It's so hard for us to sit here and tell you about it without putting the headset on you.
I know.
Like, it's just so difficult.
That is probably one of the hardest parts of my job. Like, just trying to kind of convince people that you're watching a trailer, you're watching a flat video. Yes, it has some aspects of the game. Maybe it shows off the visuals or like some of the gameplay, but it is completely different once you put that headset on. And I see people's reactions when they try VR for the first time. We've recently been to a couple events locally. So we had the Queensland Games Festival, and there was like an indie developer night at a local bar, and so many people, it was their first time ever experiencing VR, and like they're just speechless. Like they finally see what it's like, because they've probably seen trailers and stuff online, but like you can't explain it until you play it.
No, and I suppose the good thing that you've had though in terms of showcasing a game that is so good to begin with.
I know. It makes the marketing much easier because it is just a bloody brilliant game. And I'm not saying that as a Toast employee. I am saying that as a fan of platformers. Look at my.
I mean, we can agree with it being a brilliant game as well. I mean, we've enjoyed playing it. That's for sure.
And like, you're gonna love it on PSVR2. Like, it's definitely how the studio.
I'm surprised how much they've improved it. I'm so surprised. Like, literally.
And I suppose that's a good segue into PSVR2, because I mean, there must be a question that you love getting asked, Ben, in terms of when's it coming to PSVR2? What's the release date? And we now know the release date. I mean,
surely you've been keeping an eye on our socials, so we finally.
I've been poking him. What's the release date, mate? Give us an exclusive,
man. Like for weeks and weeks, I've had to deflect people's questions because, like, there's a lot that goes on in a game studio to be able to be like, okay, we're releasing this day. It's not as simple as just like choosing the date and being like, oh, yep, tell people now. But yeah, we're finally able to get it out there. So it's coming out October 3rd. That is October 3rd Australian time. So some parts of the world will be getting it October 2nd. But we're aiming for...
Lucky people.
Like, yeah. I mean, technically it's all the same time.
The sooner the better, let's put it that way.
We're here in the future in Australia. We're like hours ahead of you. But very excited for that launch date. I know some people were expecting maybe it would be a little bit sooner. Honestly, it's not a bad thing that it is that little bit later. Like, October is like the VR month now. There's going to be so many eyes on VR because of all these awesome games launching. It also gives us time to get like that perfect amount of polish to make sure it's the best possible experience.
Yeah.
I don't want to put out a rushed game. I don't think anyone does.
Please don't. I mean, I think one of the things that I wanted to kind of put out there and say really is, like you said, obviously October's been a really big month. Is there any fear of dropping Max Muster on the same day as another VR game coming out? Because you've chosen
I think if they were the same style of game, if they were the same genre
this is exactly
of game,
what we said earlier on as well. Yeah.
It's like it's Hellsinger VR.
Yes.
Like I've played a bit of the flat version, and I imagine the VR version is going to be freaking awesome. But like, I can't imagine a game that's more different than Max Muster.
The only thing that's similar in both is that you jump. That's about it. But yeah,
that's true. They do have jumping.
I don't know why it always takes me back to the
Hellsinger.
Always takes me back to the day when I think it's like it's completely different. But when Mad Max released the same day as Metal Gear Phantom Pain, and I was like, oh, like it takes me back there when games release the same day. Gives me that fear.
That's a tricky one. No, like I'm not worried by it at all. I think
No, I don't think you should be.
Both games definitely will get a lot of attention. And, like, there is a fair chance that the people who are interested in playing both, like, I imagine it's like a Venn diagram. There's going to be an overlap of people who will want to play both, but potentially the people who are very interested in Max Mustard and very interested in playing, like, a rhythm first-person shooter. Like,
yeah. I think as well, like, with Max Mustard, you've, like, especially yourself as well, you've really pushed this game to showcase it constantly. Like, every day I wake up and there's a new Max Mustard post. Every single day there's another video out there with
what I'm here
hyping
for.
up this game, and it's every day. There's not a day where I don't see another Max Mustard video, and I'm like, yeah, I've experienced that. I can't wait. I equally feel that hype for people to experience this game. So yeah,
I'm glad to know that it is working. Obviously, you guys, you're already the passionate VR audience. The big challenge is getting it out to people who maybe are on the fence about VR. But I think the fact with Max Mustard that it is a 3D platformer, and a lot of us grew up on 3D platformers, like particularly if you're from like the Nintendo 64 sort of PS1 era, like we can lean a lot to like people's nostalgia with those two.
And I suppose that takes us to quite an interesting point, because there's a clear thing that we need to talk about, and that is Astrobot.
Oh, yeah.
Astrobot he's not been rescued from PSVR1. He's still stuck down there, but he is coming to PS5 in 2 weeks. And
I'm excited.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Looks awesome. Like, actually so good.
But you then have a month to kind of capitalise on everyone's love that there's absolutely no doubt Astrobot is going to come out and it's going to be huge. Absolutely massive.
Definitely. I hope it is.
And you're coming along a month later and you say it's those people that are not convinced on VR that you need to try and pull in. And I feel like there's such an opportunity to capitalise on what Astrobat, that's a brand new game, and what Astrobot was in terms of where he started, where he is now, and where he should be, which I believe.
Yeah, same.
You definitely, there's a void there, and you guys are, I feel like, sitting in that perfect point to fill it in terms of the release date. And I'm like, I'm going to say, but Reese and Laurie could have said whatever they think about releasing it as the same day. Like, who gives a fuck? Sorry for the language, but who cares that that's coming out the same day as Mental Health Singer? Because there's no way it's going to matter.
No, it won't.
And it's just, I feel like, and this is another thing, you guys have not taken an easy route to port this game. You just haven't come across and saying, like, this was the Quest game, and here it's ported over and it's the same game over, which a lot of people have done. I mean, you've taken a lot of love and care in terms of utilising the features of the PSVR2.
That's exactly what we wanted. Like, we want to make it the best possible experience for players, regardless of whatever platform they're using. And, like, obviously, I love my Quest 3. This is an awesome device. I use it heaps. I'm a big advocate for it. I think it's a great option for people wanting to explore VR. But obviously, like, because it is a standalone device, you're pretty limited in what you can achieve with it. I think the team have done an incredible job at optimizing it on Quest as much as possible. It plays perfect.
It does.
The frame rate is super smooth and steady. It's a great experience. But with a more powerful device and headset with awesome features, like foveated rendering is like, for the PSVR2, that is game changer.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Not just for players, but for developers in making sure that, we can get the game looking and running as best possible. If you didn't have that feature, like luck getting the frame rates that you're able to with foveated rendering on, it makes a world of difference. So, like, we had to, like, you'd be stupid not to take advantage of those features.
And I suppose there's so many people that do, or are, I'm not saying they're stupid, but that don't take advantage of those features. We joke amongst ourselves, like, when a game is announced, it's like, there's quite a few people out there, the first thing that will reply is like, does it use dynamic foveated rendering? And
I know, like, I saw that comment so many times.
Does it run at 90 hertz?
And you guys
no reprojection?
No.
Yep.
But, I mean, is it obviously, like, there's been also a lot of kind of talk around, and I think probably maybe what you're alluding to, and so many things that need to line up to get to release date in terms of the back end of PlayStation and getting everything through certification and getting everything out there. And we know that is a difficult process. And was there anything in terms of this port that you struggled to get there with, or has it been quite a smooth process?
Yeah, like I'll speak as best I can on behalf of the team. Like I'm not really involved in the development side of things, but I do work very closely with them. From what I've seen, the challenge has been that this is pretty much everyone's first time in dealing with the PSVR2 in terms of development. Initially, a lot of the thought would be, okay, well, we've made it for Quest. We should easily be able to port it to the PSVR2 because the PS5 is so much more powerful than the Quest. Funnily enough, that's actually not the case. The game, from my understanding, has been developed very specifically for the Quest. That doesn't mean that you could just like copy and paste it and suddenly it'll run perfectly. Like they've put so much effort into making sure that it works well on PS5, and there has been performance hurdles, and thankfully like managed to smash them, and like the game is running beautifully, and not just as a straight port, as you say. Like a lot of love and care has gone into making it the best possible version of the game.
I suppose you said this is your first experience of PSVR2, and obviously there's another title that you guys have, and you mentioned it earlier, Richie's Plank Adventure, that is coming to PSVR2. Am I right in saying that? It has been announced it's coming to PSVR2. Is there any update on, obviously Max Mustard is the one that's coming, is there anything that you can share around the progress of that? I can't talk this today.
Definitely our focus at the moment is Max Mustard. Obviously Richie's Plank, huge title. It certainly deserves additional content. It deserves port to a superior device. I think once the team have wrapped up Max Mustard projects and we've got those ports out, I think a lot of the focus is going to shift to Richie's Plank. Not really any specifics that I can talk about at this stage, but like there's definitely still going to be plans to bring it to PSVR2 and hopefully some cool new stuff on there as well.
I suppose with that in mind then as well, like, 'cause obviously you said you're still working heavily on Max Mustard, as we know, but is there anything more coming for Max Mustard in the future in terms of the franchise itself? Maybe a Netflix animation series or something, because I say that because the one thing I've always found with Max Mustard, the first time I played it, is these characters genuinely look like characters you would see in a TV show. They're very well crafted. They're great in that sense, and it feels like when you first see them, the colours are so vibrant that you feel like you're in an episode of just your favourite animation or something like that. So it's got that to it, to the point where, one day I feel like you could see like a big time studio making it into a TV show or something. It's got that vibe to it.
Like that's awesome to hear. I think it's just a huge credit to the art team.
Yeah, they've done a good job.
They've done a phenomenal job. Like it is a very charming, beautiful, clean, colourful world that they've created. So much love has gone into the design of Max Mustard, the characters, the environments, the actual levels themselves. There are going to be certain extra details in the PSVR2 and PC versions that don't feature in Quest. So like new animations, kind of little Easter eggs and things like that. So just a few things to keep an eye on. As for sequels, DLC, like at this stage, who knows? Like there's no solid plans for what's coming in the future for Max Mustard. If there's the demand, if the fans want it, I'm sure we can look at making it happen. Like, I don't know, like it's early days for Max, and obviously we're going to see what happens over the next few months. If Max rockets off on PSVR2, then
it certainly should.
Yeah, like we would love to see that, and I think if Max gets more attention on PSVR2, that's going to increase the likelihood of seeing more in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And I don't think, from our perspective, I don't think we've ever, like, obviously we started this podcast at the time PSVR2 came out, and I don't feel like we've ever seen as much hype for a game as you guys have generated with Max Mustard. And I think that's huge credit to yourself.
Thank you.
You've done such a good job in everything you've done, and all the little videos and even all the little teaser replies on Twitter. And I think it's taken that amount of time to interact with the community and speak to people. It makes such a difference, and I wish you guys all the best on October 3rd. And I think every single person listening, every single person who owns a PSVR2 should buy this game.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Love to
it
hear
really
Thank
is.
you. That's awesome. Like, honestly, again, it comes back to the community. Like, I love chatting to people through the socials, like jumping onto podcasts like this, actually getting to meet some of the people behind the accounts. Like, I do find that the PSVR2 community in particular are some of the most passionate, like really friendly people. Even on Reddit, like
most of the time.
Like, I've dealt with a lot of
different scales. I'm going to be honest here. It definitely has the scales, but I will not deny that there is a lot of passion there with
there is.
PSVR2
like,
players.
I post about the game on Reddit. Like 99% of the time, it's like so much positivity. If I was to post on, like, I don't know, R Gaming and try and start up a discussion on there, a lot of the time you're going to get assholes that just want to try and bring you down or troll you. Yeah, like, but from the PSVR2 community, rarely see that sort of behavior. And it just makes me more keen to interact with more people. Like, people want to be heard online, and I think it's nice to actually be able to interact with people who genuinely want to know more about the game.
Yeah, you do certainly interact with everyone, like Alyx said. I mean, even every week you drop into our thing and let us know that you spotted the mud pups on the new thumbnail every week.
I love that.
Like, boom.
Thanks for doing those, the silly little where's Wally, where's mud pup things. Sorry, it's where's Wally here.
It's where, yeah. Is it Wally here or is it Waldo? No,
it's Wally here, yeah. Waldo's America, isn't it? I don't know.
But it's good fun. Like, it is. It's the way you interact with everyone. It's great to see.
I just want to have fun with it too. Like, social media should be fun.
It's like even back when, because I actually, before my partner bought a Quest, I actually wanted to try out Max Master. It was the first game she wanted to try out on Quest. And she tried it and she was like, oh, that's really good. I'm going to pick up one. She had a PSVR2 at the time. She was like, I'm going to pick up her.
That was like my first interaction with you.
Yeah, and I posted it out, like, and literally the day after I posted it out, she had ordered a Quest. And she was like, I'm going to get... I was like, are you serious? You've just from playing Max Master, you bought a Quest? She was like, yeah. I was like,
hell
okay,
yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, I'm sure if somebody like that who's played many other VR games as well, she has experience in VR, and it can have that effect on her. I'm sure it's going to hit a lot of other people like that as well when they get a minute to try it.
That's the thing. Like,
it's
once they do try it, a lot of them are sold. But how do you get people to try it?
That is the hard thing, and I suppose it's been great this week seeing, like, at Gamescom such a huge VR presence, because we've been to so many exhibitions and stuff ourselves, and particularly when we went to EGX here last year, and there was like next to no VR. I think there was like three stands.
Was worse, mate.
Yeah. And I think we said this like in the year when PSVR2 came out, like, why are Sony not here with a row of headsets, getting people queued up, getting them in the headsets? It's very much like they did with PSVR1, because when PSVR1 came out, they went and showcased it across the country. They had all these events for people to come and try it, and you're like, if you do that now and you get people in that headset, they will buy that headset. But until you get it's hard. It's hard because it's a different world as well. Since I still feel like, and it's come back to your point about COVID earlier, we've been in such a different world since then in terms of these big shows and all that. And I feel like
definitely
that slowly the momentum of them is building back up to get these things back out there and get people back in the headsets. But
VR definitely performs best at physical in-person events.
Yeah.
Like, you can convince people to give it a go, and once they've actually tried it, then, like, it's the best possible selling point, really. Like, I can sing its praises online. It hits different when you're actually in the headset, and that's why I really like going to in-person events. Like, we're heading heading to PAX Australia later this year because Max got chosen for the indie showcase, one of the winners.
Yay.
So we get a nice booth there, and like, I just want to get tons of people playing the game, particularly people who've never tried VR before. Like, we just got to get the word out.
It's a game that's fun for all ages as well. So I think you've got it there as well, where it ranges really well. So exactly. But no, hopefully that event goes well for you as well, and you get a lot of people going,
it's going to be
I
big.
want this.
You know, I'll be posting it all over socials.
Well, we can't wait to see it. And as I say, Ben, thank you very much for being here, taking the time to speak to us, and we wish you the best of luck when Max comes out on October 3rd on PSVR.
Thank you so much. We'll make sure you're playing it as well.
Cannot wait.
We'll be there.
Desperate.
Very keen.
Yes, certainly.
So that was Ben from Toast Interactive. Thank you very much, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about Max Mustard in the coming weeks. Okay, let's move on, because there's a lot more other news we've got to talk about this week. And there's been Gamescom. It's been going on this weekend. Lots of stuff going on there. And the only really big thing that was part of the opening night live they did was the reveal, the gameplay reveal, and the big trailer for Batman Arkham Shadow. And you are very excited about this one. I know Alyx is too. It's looking great, right?
It does look really good. That, again, when I saw that, I was like, how is this running on a Quest? Like, the graphics of it look insane. I just couldn't believe it.
Man, yeah.
Obviously, I mean, we'll see what it's like when it's in the headset. That can always be a little bit different to the gameplay, because you can always edit your videos a little bit, but I don't know what they've done. But either way, it looked phenomenal. The combat, I think they've implemented the combat system of the Arkham games very well into this game. The way you kind of have full control of the actual combat you're doing, and even just the grappling, it just all looked very satisfying. And I think the one bit that just made me go, oh, was the takedown, the bit where he's hiding around the corner and kind of walked up and then went behind him and did a takedown from behind. I was like, I am going to completely be Batman in this game, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's got it all, isn't it? It's got the scanner thing that he's got. It's got all of the tricks, and it looks like the full Arkham experience in VR, which is fantastic.
I mean, obviously we had. Go on.
We had
Arkham VR before, which was the one made by Rocksteady.
Yeah,
and even though that wasn't like a walk around yourself kind of experience, it did have the detective style, throwing your batarangs. It did give
that was a point-to-point investigation.
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
Was it? The teleporting around.
Yeah,
so I play that. That was a good game.
It was a good. I'd say I put it more on the line of a tech demo type of thing.
Yeah,
it certainly did make me have that feeling of being Batman. Especially just the moment, I've mentioned this so many times, the moment when you first put on Batman's mask on that game was just mind-blowing.
You're in front of a mirror, aren't you? So it's cool.
Yeah, it was just absolutely mind-blowing, because you grab it with both your hands and you have to do that, and then all of a sudden you're looking in a mirror and you see the Bat mask on it. It was absolutely crazy. So I'm hoping they do something like that similar in this game, just because I think the power of how that makes you feel is just insane. Like, even they do like a suit-up process where you have to pull the gloves up or something, even the boots. Yeah, it's just something silly like that. But no, I really cannot wait for this one. I think that trailer kind of exceeded everyone's expectations.
Yeah, and people have been getting hands-on time with it as well, which is exciting for them.
Yes, by the looks of it, there is a few content creators that were at Gamescom that have been kind of dragged away into the dark, elusive corner of Gamescom to try out the Batman Arkham Shadow demo, or whatever they have there to showcase to them, which hopefully will be hearing their thoughts soon. Obviously, the game, again, it's not too far off. It's coming out in October.
No, exactly. So if it's an October release, you're going to have to assume there's going to be September previews.
Yeah, something in September, yeah. I'm talking about maybe near the end.
Is it Batman kind of Halloween-y type game? It's not really Halloween-y, is it? But it is that kind of Gotham and Gothic.
It's
and
dark, isn't it? Yeah, so I suppose it kind of works well with it.
So definitely in that sort of spooky season.
Yeah. And October's getting too busy. Like, can we just stick to just 3 games coming out 1 month? Like, this is just getting insane now.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of us are not lucky enough to own a Quest, so it's not a problem. That's much of a problem for me.
That's fine. I'll bring it round to yours. You can play Batman.
Hey, please do.
There's an idea.
No, I mean, it's great that they're getting these system sellers, because this will bring people into. There are people that are diehard Batman Arkham fans that will not want to miss out on this. In the same way, but there were Assassin's Creed fans last year that did not want to miss out on a new Assassin's Creed game, and they knew they could play it by buying this hardware. Fair play to Meta to put the money where the mouth is on that. To get Assassin's Creed last year, Arkham this year, like, what are they going to do next year? What is they going to have to? It's a proper like gamers franchise. Yeah, these franchises that gamers properly love, that It's not, you know, it's not there for a casual audience. It's not like the other things like that Meta have got as part of their audience. It is definitely a proper core gamer experience on there. Well,
yeah,
core gamer game, I should say.
They're really building out the Quest store. I mean, they've just opened it up now with the App Lab kind of thing, so that's all merged as one, so everything's all on one store, which also makes it a bit easier for developers because they kind of have their game on the full store straight from the get-go now when they put it on there. But they are doing a lot, and I do respect Meta for some of the stuff they do. I say some of the stuff, there's not really anything I've had bad experiences with at the moment with the Quest, and I've been enjoying my time with it. But yeah, there's a lot of games on there to play. We just know GTA isn't coming now, so I mean...
Yeah. Well, we talked about that last week. I still think
just like Astrobot isn't coming to PSVR2. Sorry, guys. All right, cool.
Well, I mean, Meta have got the money. Maybe next year they'll get Rockstar to make a proper GTA game, like I was suggesting, like built for the ground up.
I thought you were going to say Meta was going to buy a team of Sobi and get them to make an Astrobot for Quest.
Well, that would really be.
That would be.
No, it's all right. We're going to get Astro's rescue mission. So the first one.
I genuinely think at some point they should do a pool of it. Genuinely, if they do anything, 100%
they will. This year is all about Astrobot. It's going to be huge. It's going to be the best selling game of the year on PlayStation. Yeah. Maybe not. But it's definitely that franchise will definitely reach new levels. Yeah, I've got it pre-ordered. It's got its own controller, for Christ's sake. That controller is amazing.
I haven't bought that.
When that game comes out, the whole franchise is going to really just go up to the next level. I think a lot of people have it on the PS5 and they don't realise they've got it, and they were like, "Oh shit, I've already got this game." A short version of the game anyway. So yeah, they'd be mad not to port it because it's just easy money for them there. Anyway,
there's minimal development work to it though. They would have to kind of rework the controller scheme, but if Moss could do it, I'm sure they can.
Indeed. Back to Gamescom, people have also been getting hands-on with a little game coming out called Metro Awakening. So presumably, we'll be getting previews for that in the coming weeks as well. So yeah, hopefully we don't have a date for that one, do we yet? It still is just 2024. I don't think they've said anything.
I feel like I've heard something. Have we not? No, we haven't, have we? We haven't heard anything yet for that one.
That's getting delayed, surely.
But yeah, Gamescom, I saw some of the videos where they were all walking around the Home of XR booth. And there was obviously the Vertigo booth where it had Arizona Sunshine. Then they had a door with a wall, obviously, because our doors work.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
had a wall with a door on it, yeah.
Wasn't just a door in space.
It was fully painted with Metro Awakening, and obviously behind that closed door was where they were having the hands-on with certain people for that game as well. And again, it seemed like a very closed-off invitation type of deal to get access to that. But, yeah.
Yeah, no, I got my invite. I just couldn't bother making the trip to Germany.
You never got an invite. Stop it.
Did you not?
No, I've lost.
Awkward. Okay, well, another game that's coming out soon, talking about the busy end of the year. Behemoth now has a release date, and that's for November the 14th. So we now know when we're going to be playing that. That's November the 14th. So I don't think there's anything else in November. So it's got that to itself.
Not at the moment.
Which is good.
This is where Metro Awakening comes out in November, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it could do. So that's good. That's coming out soon. Also, with a release date, a RAD video app is coming on September the 3rd. What is this RAD app all about? This is for video watching. This is not for playing games on the PSVR. It's just for watching video content, right?
I thought it was an AI generative video app, isn't it?
I
genuinely thought it was something to do with AI. I never used it on PSVR1, so yeah, I've never actually used it before. Let's have a quick read on it. Streaming for next-gen video creators in AI, XR, and blockchain. Okay.
Yeah, I think it just lets you watch like 3D video content on the PSVR2 because there's no other way to watch video stuff on it. So
yeah, it just says AI video. Rad TV is your one-stop place for AI video creators. Okay, how does that work?
I don't know what that means.
But I'm sure one of us will try it and talk about it at some point.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are excited about it anyway. So that's coming on September the 3rd. So look forward to that. Something else coming September is Hotel R&R. It's coming over to Quest in September. So that is an unusual example of a game that's already out on PSVR2 that's actually going over to Quest. And I thought I mentioned that just because you played Hotel R&R? You a fan of that one?
Yes, I have played it. I enjoyed it. And I genuinely think this game is going to do well on Quest. I think it's going to actually thrive on that store. I think with Quest, there's so many games that are them kind of wacky and zany experiences, and I think R&R kind of hits that just over the top, just randomness. And I think a lot of people on Quest are actually going to have a really good time with this one. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. It's a really good game. It's silly. It's challenging at times, depending if you want to go for all the actual challenge markers in the levels. And it's just funny. There's no seriousness to it. So definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and obviously it's the same devs as Last Worker and Sea Smash as well.
Yeah,
Wolf and Wood. Yeah, so good guys over there. And there's something else that we saw on office. It's I Am Security, which is coming to PSVR2. What's that all about?
That is basically a game where you stand outside a nightclub and people come up and you have to check their coats to see if they're holding any, illegal things that they shouldn't be taken inside of a club. You can then clean up tattoos on them. You can clean up their tattoos, shave their hair. I don't know why you can shave their hair. I've never been to a nightclub where you can do that. It's just one of them. It's a silly game, It's just one of them things. It's made by the developers that made I Am Cat. If you didn't get it by the title,
goodness.
Yeah.
So is it not like a Papers, Please type thing?
Kind of, in a sense, yeah. Because you will have certain ones that are fine, and you can be like, just go on, go in, kind of thing. So it does have that type of gameplay to it, but it's a bit more silly in the sense where you can just kind of just slap them away and throw them away from the queue and just wait for the next one to come up. It's the way I kind of explained this when we spoke about it before was they're very content creator games, I think is the way of wording it. These are games where people that have a really good sense of humor can make a video about it and just have a good laugh, and it's just fun to watch. I'm not saying they're not fun to play, because I did enjoy I Am Cat. I still enjoy playing it every now and then, doing the challenges. I haven't played I Am Security yet, but hopefully I'll check it out at some point. I'm sure when both I Am Cat and I Am Security come to PSVR2, we'll give you our thoughts on them as well. As long as it has a platinum, I'll rinse it. So,
of course you will.
Add a platinum, please.
So I think that is about it for the news this week. Quite a busy week there. Let's move on to what we have been playing. Reese, let's go first.
Okay, so this week I was playing some more Half-Life Alyx, which I realise I've mentioned this more times than I can count on this podcast now. But this time, instead of actually playing the story of Half-Life Alyx, a good friend of the show, VR Realm, mentioned to me that there is a Bioshock mod on Half-Life Alyx.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Instantly, I stopped everything I was doing and went on the Steam Workshop. You don't have to do anything over the top and convoluted to download this mod as well. You don't have to go on Google, download 6 different files and import them into one. You go onto Steam, you go onto the Workshop, and you type in Bioshock, and there you are. You find it. They're the type of mods I like sometimes. So you literally go in, you install it, and then it goes straight into the game, and it takes you to Rapture. It's called Return to Rapture. It's an original story within the Half-Life Alyx world that's set in Bioshock. So somehow Alyx has made her way to Rapture, and there's the Combine there. It's been infected, and there's a lot of weird things happening. But the moment you go into the actual lighthouse and you hear Andrew Ryan's speech while you're kind of going down into Rapture, blew my mind. Like,
wow,
it was one of the most surreal experiences for me. I'm a huge fan of the Bioshock games, so literally having that as an experience of just going down into Rapture and be like, it was great. It was absolutely great. Yeah, there's areas I'm walking around and I'm going, oh my God, I recognise this place. Obviously, some of the stuff he's kind of had to change and rearrange a little bit to avoid getting a cease and desist, let's be honest, because it could possibly happen. But there's 9 parts to the story. You literally install them all for the Steam Workshop.
Wow.
And yeah, it's all voice acted as well. So there's like a new character in it who's talking to you. And there was a bit where he did say, would you kindly? And I was like, let's do this. Let's rehash this story. I will pick you. He was like, would you kindly pick up that shotgun? I was like, I mean, not because you told me, but I'm definitely going to do it. But
okay, don't spoil this now. Let's spoil this now.
So, I mean, it's been out for years. But literally any PSVR2 PC adapter players, do yourself a favour. Just browse that Steam Workshop on Half-Life Alyx or any other VR games you have through Steam and just see what some of these crazy, really genius people have made to kind of change the game that you're already playing. But yeah, I'm probably going to be playing more of that. It's blown my mind. Let's put it that way. And it's made me want a VR Bioshock game more than ever before now. Like, I want a fully original VR Bioshock.
Why isn't that a thing?
It should be. Like, exploring Rapture with a VR headset on.
I mean, you could just port the original to...
Do it.
VR. It's quite a short
Just
game.
that.
It would work. It's not graphically demanding. Maybe that'll be next year's Quest game.
Flat to VR, please do what you can. See if you can get Bioshock the original just straight into VR for me. I will be eternally grateful.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it should be that hard to do, right?
About,
you just got to get...
You're right, it's about 4 to 5 hours long, isn't it? It's not...
Especially
if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing.
It took me longer than that, but I was playing on Twitch.
That makes sense.
Everything was in slow motion. So, yeah, but I suppose just like interacting with objects, you just have to kind of add that in, and just the giving weight to stuff and all that kind of stuff that you have to do make VR stuff work. But yeah, man, that'd be so good. I'd love it. Although it would be really boring with the audio diaries, you have to stand near them for ages.
Oh no! So the way there is actually audio diaries is the way all you have to do is just pick up the audio diary, and then I think you either just hold on to it while you're walking around with it, and you kind of carry the audio diary and it plays it. So as long as you pick it up once, it activates it, and then you can kind of throw it, or you can carry it around if you want that extra bit of immersion. So this person has put all that in there as well to kind of make it kind of work within the world of Half-Life Alyx. So
audio diary accepts. So it's fine when Bioshock did it because it was like an old game back then. But nowadays, when I still see it, I was like, this is the laziest trope of a video game. It really, I hate it, but it also makes me laugh so much. It's the idea that there's like all these scientists with dictaphones, like day one, the subject has escaped. It's just like, what the fuck? Why? Like every game you play.
Why is there like over 100 of them laying around?
Yeah, like why have you got so many dictaphones? You're so wasteful. Just
catalogue this stuff.
Take the cassette out and then put a new cassette in and reuse your dictaphone. Just like record like a 30-second message. And
just in VR. In VR, ask you to open it, take the cassette tape out and rotate it around to the other side so you can hear the other side of the tape.
You get quite far the game. It's like day 13. I don't know where all my dictaphones have gone.
I don't know why I'm doing this anymore. Why am I doing this?
So yeah, Bioshock VR is definitely come. And in the meantime, play it in Half-Life.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the exact same story, but at least it will give you a feel of walking around Rapture. So there is that.
That's cool. That's cool. Can you stream some of that for us? Will you be allowed to do that?
I can. Yeah, I can stream it. I
want to see what it's like. I want to see this.
Next stream we do, I'll jump on that.
Also, not being funny, but that'll probably get us a few views.
Bioshock fans, yeah.
That'll probably do numbers.
But that's the thing. I feel like it's kind of one of them ones where not many people remember it now. So that's why I hadn't heard of it. I've been playing on Steam VR now for over the 2 months now. I've been playing on it, and this is the first someone's told me Bioshock's on it, and I've been like crying for Bioshock for ages, and no one's cared to go, oh, there's a Bioshock VR mod. Like, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, just as another reminder, everyone listening or watching this on YouTube, would you kindly hit that subscribe button? Oh, nice. You like that, didn't you? Okay, let's move on. You play anything else, Reese? Anything else you can play?
No, it's pretty much been Half-Life Alyx, little bits here and there on Steam VR, a bit more Containment Initiative that I mentioned last week, and then I played a little bit of Quest with Alyx. We played some Beat Saber the other night.
Wow, it's a good job being on just a PSVR2 podcast anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
have I played PSVR2 this week?
Well,
I did. I did. I played Stride Fates to check out that new update that was happened a few weeks back because I wanted to check because they fixed the grabbing stuff. They have made it so it's better with climbing, but however, they have seemed to have broken the grappling hook when grabbing items and pulling them off the desk. To the point where it made me die when trying to grab syringes when I was getting attacked by a boss on one of the final levels. So, on one hand, yay. On the other hand, yeah. So
they take it away.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. I still feel like the previous update kind of made it a lot better for me to enjoy and play still than what this update's done. I feel like this update's kind of made it worse for me now. So, it's a shame. But I still like the actual general idea of Stride Fates. So, please just fix the game. We'll just revert it back to the previous update and kind of rework what you was doing.
Yikes. Yeah, that sounds pretty rough.
Yep.
Okay. Well, for my part, I've been playing more Moss 2. I won't talk about that, though, because I tend to just try and talk about stuff when I start playing it, and then when I finish playing it, I give my final thoughts and stuff, just so I'm not keep going on about the same again and again every week. Suffice to say, it's still brilliant. But I've also jumped into Ghost Signal Stellaris. Have you played that one, Reese?
I have played that one.
Okay, that's good, because it would be awkward if you hadn't. Because
I actually have a Ghost Signal statue on my shelf over there.
I thought you were going to show me a tattoo there on your arm. I was like, wow.
No, I have a statue on the shelf over there, but you probably can't see it.
You got it from EGX, didn't you?
Yeah, I won the giveaway there from Fast Travel, which was very surprising.
Nice. Well, okay. Well, Alyx and Ben have talked about this game previously. They both loved it. Alyx obviously was your host, and Ben, do you remember him?
Ben from the Mimic's Vow. Of course I know
from
Ben.
the Mimic's Vow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
What a great guy.
New episodes as well. New episodes every Thursday. Every Thursday. Yeah. New episodes. The Mimic's Vow. I don't know. We need Alyx here. What's the links for it? Just search for the Mimic's Veil on
you'll find it.
Apps. It's a cracking listen. If you're missing Ben, that's where you'll find it.
And if you want something not always VR, I suppose is a better way to put it.
Yeah, although Alyx does his best to try and chew on VR.
Yeah, he has tried to push some into it. He's like, I've been playing Walkabout Mini Golf this week. Like, God's sake, Alyx, the one place you're not going to be mentioning VR.
Yeah, and obviously Lewis as well. And long-time listeners of this show will recognise Lewis, the absolute guy, as a former guest of the show on here as well. And he does have a PSVR2. So, they're all... they're all good VR fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Apart from Ben, who hates it.
But he doesn't hate it. He just hasn't got a need to play it right now.
No. Well, we'll see if Max Mustard can tempt him back.
Oh,
and maybe
Max
we'll
Mustard
get him back
definitely tempt him back.
We'll get him back for a 1 week special.
Yeah, we have to.
But no, Ghost Signal. Alyx and Ben both played it, both loved it, both platinumed it, I believe, as well. Which is like, wow. And I tried playing this before when it first came out, and that is when my PSVR2 was playing up, and I just couldn't get it to work. And I don't know if there's been some updates where I reset it or whatever. It seems to be working fine again now. So I went back to playing Ghost Signal. And yeah, it's a cool game, isn't it? And I can tell it's a really cool game, and I can see why everyone loves it. But for me, I'm probably because I'm just stupid and not very good at games, but I just I'm getting overwhelmed here with movement and the combat and the two-handed thing. And it was like when this clicks, and I could tell there would come a point where it clicks for me, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna love it, because I was just like dancing around with your hands, making your ship dart all over the place and firing off lasers and stuff. But for me, just my initial first impressions playing, because I've not played it very much. I've already done probably about an hour or so. Got quite a few different, gone through quite a few different stages. But it's just the movement when you have to move your ship, and the way that you move the ship by plotting the courses, and just you bring up the button to pick where you want to move to, and then the way that then you move that, you can plot that course in 3D space, and then you can chain the movements together. I'm like, when I do that, I just, to be able to do that and shoot and do stuff and change weapons and pick out targets and also do the scanner with the L2 button, I'm like, this is too much. My tiny brain cannot comprehend these many things. I just need someone to, this is just, overwhelming for me. But I'm going to stick with it because it's really cool and I do really like it. I like the whole setting and the aesthetic and what it's all trying to do and stuff. And it seems like a really cool use of VR, if you see what I mean, because you're in that third person space and you are observing all of the sort of battlefield in front of you. It's a really cool gameplay.
Yeah, it was enjoyable to play. I mean, again, I think I'm in your boat here. I haven't played it for as long as like Ben and Alyx have. I think I may have played it for about an hour, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. It's different. And I think that's what kind of took me by surprise. It was just how different it is. And obviously I heard everyone raving about this, just like, well, I think actually when I heard people rave about it was when I, before I was part of the podcast and I was listening to it, and you lot were raving about it, back in them days. But I never got around to picking it up. And then obviously, I was lucky enough to win it, and then I jumped into it. But no, I think you're right. The way it's kind of, you plan out your course and you have to kind of just be quite strategic with it. And then obviously there's many different things. And obviously as you go through it, you're kind of upgrading your ship, as it is a roguelite as well, which, yay, VR roguelites. Yeah. But anyways, it's a very different roguelite, so I will let them off the hook on this one. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I played, and I definitely need to play more. I just haven't got round back to playing it. But no, it was fun, and I found it very chilled. You were saying it was quite a lot for you to kind of, and I think the tutorial thing was quite overwhelming. There was like all the different things it's telling you to do. I did find that a bit like, whoa, there's a lot for this. I thought I'd just be dragging a ship to one point and then watching it shoot or something. And then there was a lot more they threw at me. But it's definitely a game I think I can just play and just sit and relax and play it.
It's a bit like when you play, my son and I were playing Enter the Gungeon today on Switch, because that's on the free trial. You can download the full game for free to try it. So we've been playing that together on co-op. And these games where it's twin stick movement and your left stick moves and your right stick aims and shoots at the same time. I just like, I'm getting old, Reese. I struggle. I struggle with the coordination needed. I'm like, well, hold on, let me
You should
move.
try
And
playing
then I'm
Guitar
going to
Hero.
So you tried playing guitar. And I was like, yeah, I know. I did once.
Really?
Didn't go anywhere. But yeah, it just, I mean, these things I'm fine with them. I can play them really. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm taking the piss out of myself. For me, it's that initial, once it clicks, it becomes like second nature. And when you get to that state, there's nothing better in games. I feel like when you just master the controls is something a bit different, and it's a bit different to play. And I love that. I love playing things new. And then I sort of love the hump you have to get over, and then once it all clicks, you feel like you're properly in the driving seat, and then you can really sort of put the foot down. And I'll keep extending this metaphor, but no, I'll stop that.
Yeah, no, I definitely think, like, from all, you know when you hear a lot of hype about games and you worry yourself about playing them, this is one of them games. When I played it, I was like, okay, I completely understand the hype, you know. So yeah, I still think it's one people should pick up if they haven't picked it up. It's good fun.
Well, I shall play it again at some point, and
I think I need to go back to it too.
Further thoughts on it. Right, well, I think that about wraps things up for this week then, Reese. Thank you, everyone, for listening, for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you could please tell your family and your friends all about us. And if you get more involved, please don't hesitate to drop into our Discord and say hello. Thanks, everyone that's done so already. I have been your host, Laurie. This guy has been Reese, and we will see you again next time. Until then, it's goodbye.